Good morning, citizens. How are you guys doing? Something's going on with my layout. I'm having some problems this morning, so I don't have my yellow layout. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There we go. How are you guys? Welcome, welcome. Good morning. We are going to be talking about Blake, Taylor, and Justin and updating you guys on all the tea. A lot of stuff happened last night, and so we're going to go over Baldoni's latest filing. Good morning, Quarter. What's going on with Taylor Swift? This stalker incident that everybody's Roman Empire right now as to whether or not Star Magazine reported this correctly or not. So we're going to get a little bit into that. And then Blake and her Gossip Girl, her whole Gossip Girl nostalgia. I know Ashley Brianna Eve, she does PR. If you guys are not following her, give her a follow because she reports on this from a lens of PR. And what's interesting is that she says every time Blake Lively comes on and does something like this, where, because it's the 18th anniversary of Gossip Girl. It's not like a 20th or like anything that's a milestone. It's the 18th. And so she posted a bunch of throwbacks, and I feel like it's kind of like nostalgia, like trying to nostalgia baiting, like the new trend of like trying to do PR through nostalgia. And so yeah, she posted some stuff. Let me see if I can pull it up and we can get started here. But she posted some stuff on just Gossip Girl and like pictures of, she's saying that it's like university and college. Let me pull it up real quick. Because let me see. You guys know I always have trouble on that first one. Let me pull it up. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Laura. Hey, ACC. You got me on the radio? I mean, on the radio, like old school in the car. She's saying she's listening to me on the drive to work. And let me see if I can fix the media on here. Let me see if it fixed itself. Yeah, okay, so I did get that fixed at least. So technical difficulties this morning, so bear with me. Let me pull up that first one. So we'll go ahead and lead with Blake Lively and her Gossip Girl stuff before we get into the filing and Taylor. So here is the post. And she says, the summer Gossip Girl turned 18. This show was my college. It was my education. So I know a lot of people were talking about how it's only the 18th. And when I say a lot of people, I mean Bocce. No. I was on last night, you guys, with Bocce, Notorious Raven, Sarah, and then Chris PR was on there too on TikTok, over on TikTok. If y'all don't follow me on TikTok, it's C Journalist 24 over there too. I've been going live over there in the evenings, and mostly when I go watch Bocce, if she's live, I'll go and watch her, and then I get invited on. And last time it was Elsrich. If you guys remember who Elsrich is, give them a follow. They actually kind of helped me put the show together. Well, Bocce and Sarah did. I'll put in all of that when we get to what we were brainstorming, but we were kind of brainstorming last night on different things once the filings dropped, and so we were just hanging out on our laptops together on the live. It was really, really fun. And let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. You still remember your old friend? Hey, Joe. Always good to see you, Joe. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I don't know what's going on with. There we go. So, anyways, last night what Bocce was saying, that she's like, it's only the 18th anniversary. It's not like it's the 20th or the 25th or anything big. It's the 18th. But what I think she was trying to do is like, when you're 18 and you go off to college, and so it's And she's trying to play a word on the summer that I turned pretty, is what Bocce was saying. The summer Gossip Girl turned 18, and so she's trying to float off of the summer I turned pretty, trying to get attention from that. But it says the show was my college, my education, my hard work. So she's saying she was on campus for 6 years, so treating it as like her college young getaway. And then it's just a bunch of pictures of her really, really young, when she was in her prime, when she was more popular, obviously. And it looks like she's the cool kid. Like, there she is with Penn. And I don't know if her and Penn had a falling out, like to where they don't follow each other or not. And then look, there's Dan Saladino, Mr. Trainer, clapping and liking it. If you know, you know. This is the guy who threw Baldoni under the bus for just asking about weight when he didn't want his back thrown out. So, but from what I know, her and Leighton Meister don't get along either. So I'm like, you're putting up pictures with people that don't necessarily still talk to you or anything like that. But if you look through these, and there she is with like crazy hair, trying to be relatable, eating an ice cream with the dog. There she is again with Leighton, a lot with Leighton. And then, yeah, just behind the scenes, there she is with Michelle. And then I don't know what this one is, just weird pictures. But just basically like it's like her college experience, or her and I have a feeling it's because she looks younger. And there was a comment, let me see. I remember this night over here. So this is Justin Johnston. He's an actor too. And he's like, I remember this night, where are you finding these? And then they're like, we were deep diving into at Amy Tags and at Jen Johnson's hair through old phones and hard drives. So they were looking through old phones and hard drives. And then he's like, I had no idea some of these nights were even documented. I'm so nervous. So she just posted these without people's permission, or, and then she says, thank God there was no. So it's kind of like funny, but here it seems like he's like, okay, where did you guys even get these? Because I didn't even know some of these existed. And I didn't see him in the pictures. Let me see if I see him in the pictures, but I don't think I saw him in the pics. Maybe he's like, I'm getting nervous because you're going to post something of like us partying or hanging out. That, yeah, I didn't see him in any of the pictures. I don't even know if he was in Gossip Girl. Yeah, no, he's not in any of. Oh, there he is. I think that's him in the back there. But anyway, so that's the Blake Lively of it all. Let me see if she's posted anything now. She hasn't posted anything since then. But she has her comments limited to just her friends hyping her up. Love this, love this. So yeah, let me get back to where I'm going. Hold on. She can't tag any of the people that are in the pictures. Exactly, ACC. She just wants attention, says Joe. Exactly. So, yeah, it was like Ashley said. So Ashley Brianna Eve sees this whenever she reports on something, it's always like 99% of the time true, to the point where I feel like even Blake's people follow her account and like do things that she predicts or whatever. I don't know, but she always is right on the money in like the things that she said. And she said that this might be a distraction for something that might be coming. And it could have been the opposition brief. I don't know. It could have been the Taylor Swift stuff. Yes, trying to stay relevant. That's the way I saw it. Ooh, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Wait, no, it's not coming. Is it coming? Okay, no, it didn't come. Sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm about to sneeze, it won't come. So yeah, I feel like it was just like, and then the way that it's all younger pictures of her, it's like she's trying to go back to like a time when people liked her, I guess. Yeah, and she keeps them close to most people. Yeah, because it's only her friends that are allowed to comment. So she's like in a little echo chamber. So let's move on to the next story, which is the Taylor Swift of it all. I feel like we're gonna leave the filing for the end, but I have some tea on the filing too. There's a girl named Sarah. She's kind of new to the block of reporting. She's on TikTok. She only has a couple videos. It's her tag, if Laura can help me out, I think on TikTok is if you can put it in there, because she was helping me flesh out the part of the filing and stuff. We were talking a lot about the filing, and she found this little Easter egg that Fritz has been quoting on another case, and how that might be used for summary judgment. So I'll pull it up on my TikTok real quick. Let me pull up her. It's co.sunflower, co.sunflower. And let me pull up her account real quick. So this is her account, co.sunflower, and so she's got a couple of videos here. But if you guys want to give her a follow, she's got some good stuff and really smart. She actually works for a jury consultant company, and so I got to pick her brain, and she was talking about how it's going to be hard to choose for Blake's side to choose a jury, because anybody that's sympathetic to like her plight is also going to be sympathetic to the things that Justin Baldoni is going through. Like, say that it's someone that's sympathetic to sexual harassment. Well, he, they would also probably be sympathetic um, to domestic violence. And remember, he was the one that was promoting the domestic violence with more respect. And so, there's this balance of whether when trying to pick a jury, it's going to be really hard to pick someone that'll just side with Blake, because Baldoni has, like most of the times it's like a rich person and a not rich person, but these are two celebrities. So either way, people will feel the same about both of them. So anyways, give her a follow. Hello, Sandy Jean. I hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome, welcome. Happy fall. Okay, thank you, Laura, for linking her. Yeah, so give her a follow, and then let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up Bocce's too. Hold on, real quick. Let me see if I can pull up Bocce. There she is. And give Bocce a follow too. We're trying to get her to 10K, and I know you guys were asking about me having her on the show. And she did. We're working on that right now. Let me put this down here. So follow Bocce Go Hawk. She also was helping me yesterday. We were just kind of brainstorming on like what's next and who's who in the filings and all that stuff. So they helped me out a lot. So give them a follow if you can. And then Notorious Raven. Let me see if I can pull her up. But yeah, we're trying to get Bocce to 10K. She's got 7550. So hopefully when she streams with us. And then there's Notorious Raven, which is also a great TikToker. She hasn't really been covering the case as much, but she does cover new romantic stuff with Taylor Swift. So I'm gonna try and get her on as well. But we were transitioning into the Taylor Swift of it all. So let's get into it. It says Taylor Swift, man tries to serve her, gets arrested at Travis's home because she was trying to get served by Justin Baldoni. So it's this weird story. The wild incident went down earlier this month when a man named Justin Lee Fisher got busted at the NFL star's estate in Leawood, Kansas. And so we looked it up, me and Sarah, who's co.sunflower, me and Sarah and Bocce last night when we were on the live, we were looking this up. So in Kansas, anyone can be a process server. So you don't necessarily have to be a private detective or anything. This guy was a private detective according to the story, but there was a Sweet and Salty Lynn had mentioned, there was another article that mentioned that he was not authorized to serve her or something. So I wonder if we were trying to wonder if there's like a database. So if anybody knows how it works to pick up these depositions, like do you I had everybody rolling laughing because I was like, is there a DoorDash for subpoenas? Is that how it works? Like, do you have to be approved in order to like serve it or anything like that? I was wondering if that was the case. So It says, anyways, it went down in Leawood, Kansas. So we looked up what it takes to be a process server in Kansas. And yeah, it can be anybody. Star was the first to report the news. I don't know if I can go to the story. Okay, here's the story. Because it will be interesting to later look at what Star wrote versus what TMZ wrote. Laura says, I don't believe it's true. A former police officer would know better and they wouldn't jump a fence. And okay, so Sarah says she has personal knowledge. I don't know if she's visited it, or she said she or someone else had said they looked at a picture of the property or something, but I don't know. Um oh, and then one of the other girls that came on, Bachi's Mod, she was saying that someone had mentioned in another live that lived nearby or something that basically the house, you don't even really need to hop the fence to like get to the entrance or something like that. So that was another weird thing, that people who had knowledge of what the house looks like said that you can literally walk right up to the house, like right up to the door. So I'm not sure, because let me see. I can probably Google, let's see, Leawood, Kansas. Let me see, Travis's Leawood, Kansas home. And sorry, I'm not as organized today pulling these up. I was having technical difficulties since this morning. I kept getting the wheel of death. So, okay, so yeah, it says peek inside. So this is the house, but that looks like that's the back of it right here. But I don't know if it has a front. Oh, so is this the fence? Yeah, I don't see a fence here. Is this the fence down here by the trees? That looks like that's just the road. But yeah, someone said that you could literally just walk up to it. So I don't know how true that is. Is this the side of the house maybe? That looks like the backyard. But yeah, so I don't know. This is the house view. And according to who I was on the lives with and what they've heard is that you can literally just walk right up to the house. So I don't see, there's a fence right here if you see this, right? So if you follow it over here, there might be a fence here. So I don't know. That's just the talk on that. But let's go back to the actual article. And so it says, according to the docs, so Starr apparently obtained the docs, and Fisher was charged with jumping the fence onto the private residence in a private neighborhood. So I'm wondering, did he jump the fence? Do you guys know how like there's always like a fence before you go into the neighborhood? Like those I remember when Brian Enton was reporting on inmate 214 in the Idaho 4, he went down there to his parents' house in Pennsylvania, and he was like, you know, thinking about hopping the fence, because there's basically like a property gate before you get into like these fancy neighborhoods. And but then he ended up getting a ride in with a neighbor who was like, hop in, I'll give you a ride in or whatever. Uh, but he was a reporter and he was ready to just hop the fence to get in there. So you know, I guess you got to do what you got to do. It says he was arrested around 2 a.m. on September 15th. Sounds like he tried to go above and beyond allegedly to serve the pop star. Taylor got dragged into the Blake Lively Baldoni legal battle earlier this year when Baldoni dropped his 400 million lawsuit. So the way they're writing it is kind of skewed. And a lot of people are like, because last night when I typed in Blake Lively, this wasn't coming up. And then when I typed in Taylor Swift, it was coming up as the second story. Her stalker was coming up as the first story. So apparently she's got this stalker who they can't get a hold of because they're trying to serve him another restraining order or something. And he's been threatening her, sending her emails and all this stuff. And he's been avoiding, I guess, service too, which is just weird because it's like you should know how important, you know, service is when you're trying to get a hold of this guy for your safety to, you know, get the proper court stuff going. So then why wouldn't you, you know, let yourself get served? And I had pulled up something. I'm not going to give him promotion. I thought about it after, but if you guys know Mr. Team Baldoni, EP, as I call him, I'm not going to say his name and give him promotion, but he was putting a post yesterday saying like, how dare Baldoni's people, and you know, we know he follows Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Reynolds follows him or whatever. So I'm wondering if this is like to smear Baldoni, because he was like, how dare Baldoni try and serve Taylor when she's got a stalker? Like she's already going through it. Because they're saying that that's why she has that bulletproof black thing. I know I was joking. I'm like, it was to avoid service, but is because of this stalker that it's getting like super, super serious where like she fears for her life and she's not going to be able to do the promo like she likes to on this new album, and that she has to be really careful because now that the thing happened with Charlie Kirk, like they have to take threats more seriously. And they're trying to get hold of this guy to serve him a, I guess, temporary restraining order. And she hired this private detective lady, and uh, that person was, basically telling her story on like how hard it was to track him and stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know if this was something to be like, smear Baldoni, because then Blake's favorite content creator, EP, he posts another post about someone else who was trying to get served and how they scared her. And someone said it was about Isabel Ferrer, but I don't know. I think it might have been about one of the, because who else was trying to get served? But basically, it was like someone was in like a parking lot walking back to their car, and I'm just like, okay, this is all. Look at them, they're trying to serve, and they're going through all these means. It's like, yeah, because you don't just get served. Like if you just made yourself readily available to just get served or have your attorney take it to avoid all this nonsense, then maybe, because I'm thinking maybe her attorneys refused this time to uh take the subpoena. So let me see what you guys are saying on it. They didn't have to serve her so many other ways. Yeah, there were so many other ways, not like this. This is a new house since he's been with Taylor, because I used to watch the podcast and this wasn't his house. I'm sure he had to improve for her. Yeah, this is the new house. Yes, BL recently got shot down hard by Lyman. Recent headlines try to link Diddy with Justin because Shapiro had been added to the case. Hey, Irma. And now this, not buying it until I learn more. And Irma says, is this a story, another distraction by BL? Every time she gets a ruling that shatters. So this is a good theory. Her story, there is a new headline that she had won an award, has a new movie, or has a speaking engagement. So great at clocking that, Irma, because, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, she does have like something every time she does lose. And the filing that she lost, remind me, Irma, which one was that? Because I think that might have been when I was sick. So remind me which one that was. So let me go look at the Star story. I had more details. And saying that they looked at the court paperwork. So it says, the details of the incident were suspiciously missing from the one-page document, stating in bold letters, this information is restricted as for use and dissemination. So that information was redacted. We tried to see if that was normal in Kansas for court docs to be redacted. And then we thought about trying to get the court docs ourselves with a FOIA, but everyone's like, this side quest isn't worth like digging that deep into it. But if any of you sleuths want to try and get the paperwork yourselves, obviously it doesn't have the details onto like what exactly happened. So the weird part that everybody was saying was that Star broke the story, and everybody else kind of just took their information from Star. So I'm wondering, like, did they put in a FOIA on the 15th? I mean, it's only the 23rd. I guess that's a week. Maybe that's how long it took them. Somebody went down there and got the paperwork. Who leaked it? Did somebody leak it? But it says an additional court document. However, an additional court document, so they obtained something else, obtained exclusively by Star, confirmed Fisher had been charged with jumping the fence onto a private residence in a private neighborhood. I'll be happy to talk to you about it when it's resolved, Fisher told Star via text when asked about the incident. So did Fisher send in the tip? And he sent in his copy of his charges? Could it have been Fisher? You guys think? I wasn't hurt or anything besides being arrested for doing my job and possibly losing my private eye license. Somebody had sleuthed him and said that he had already lost his private eye license for some DV stuff, but maybe it wasn't. Oh, right here. It says Fisher declined to comment further, and he is due back in Leawood Municipal Court on October 15th. Fisher worked as a cop for the Fort Scott, Kansas Police Department from 2013 to 2021. Before becoming a part-time law enforcement officer, and they put that in quotes for some reason, like he wasn't really until 2023 when his license was revoked. So he might have still had his private detective license, private eye license, and maybe just his law enforcement license for 5 years following an April 21st, 2023 domestic incident with his wife, according to the Kansas Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training consent decree detailing the sanction. Fisher is listed as a licensed gumshoe, and I love that word because I hadn't heard it in a long time. Gumshoe is just like a private detective, private eye. He doesn't have a public website or business name, um, but by the Kansas State Attorney General's office, so he is licensed with that. So he didn't. So that's the license he might have lost, and it's unclear how he was recruited into the high-profile legal scrum between Hollywood superstars. So I mean, how he was recruited. I mean, it says that just anybody can serve subpoenas. So I don't know. Do you just go and pick someone? If anybody knows how that works, how it is, like, is there a database and people just go on there and be like, hey, I want to serve a subpoena? Do you get picked for that? Is it like someone you know? Like, because I remember when I was following a case that was family law where it was like, somebody asked their like their friend or something to go and serve them because it was like a DV like kid situation, and they asked their friend to serve them. So that was just like a normal person they knew. So I don't know how it works. But yeah, Stark goes on to talk about the case. So this is, yeah, everybody's like trying to look up this guy and like whether it's true or not. I know GFJ had a couple posts. Sorry about that. I left the comment up. Yeah, exactly. The story doesn't add up, not buying what they are selling. So yes. Okay. So let's get into the, it's really weird that the comments are so big. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Cause like it takes up the whole page. Is it media assets or style? Is it style? Okay, there we go. I think it's style. There we go. That's better. And then let me just change. Yeah, because I got the Wheel of Death. It all crashed. It seems like it reset all my settings. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. It was bugging me. Let's see. Elena saying this story sounds so bizarre. Yes, it does. I won't believe it until there's more information. But let's where did that comment go? I accidentally well, we were talking about her stalker. So let me see if I can pull up the Taylor Swift stalker, because that story was also strange too. Oh, so I guess about, let's see, creepy new details about the ex-con stalker. Let's see, the son, who says she had his baby as he's hit with restraining order. So I guess they did end up serving him because they were trying to look for him. So maybe they did find him, because this was a couple minutes ago, 10 p.m. Despite being called to court and slapped with a restraining order. Oh no, he can't be found anywhere. So he's being called to court for what? For the restraining order to extend it, I think. I think that's what it is. He cannot be found anywhere. It's saying the 45-year-old Colorado native has officially been ordered to stay at least 100 yards, according to a restraining order that was granted on Monday. So yeah, I guess they're trying to serve him with that. The decision, he's now forbidden from contacting her. The decision came after Swift filed for a TPO in June after Wagner allegedly, and Brian Wagner, isn't that the name of Marilyn Manson? I thought that was, unless I'm wrong. When I saw the name Brian, I think Marilyn Manson is Brian Warner. My bad. But anyways, the singer claimed that Wagner was able to successfully change his address to hers on his driver's license and tried to divert his mail to her home. So yeah, he went like super hard with that. The man was also accused of sending hundreds of emails and letters to her. Wagner has failed to appear in court since Swift took legal action. So the singer hired a licensed PR, Brooke Berg, to try to track him down, according to court docs. And Berg called the accused stalker on a number that she previously had used to get in touch with him to chat about Monday's hearing, but he never answered. People made multiple attempts to stake out at a last known residence for him, and no one could find him, the filing states. Berg chatted with neighbors, and it says the search was inconclusive. After conducting her research, the private investigator determined the alleged stalker was either transient or actively concealing his whereabouts. So it talks about all these eerie messages where he's basically obsessed and in love with her and trying to say he lived with her and that she kicked him out. And obviously he must have some mental problems, but it says Swift's team uncovered hundreds of emails sent by Wagner to the Taylor Swift fan club from 2023 to the present. He at one point allegedly showed up at her Los Angeles home carrying a glass bottle that could have been used as a weapon. Now an insider has claimed the disturbing situation has left Swift concerned for her safety over the depraved lengths she has gone to invade her privacy. She will change promotional plans or scale back if any threats she has received are deemed to be serious. It's horrible, the source said. The disturbing legal drama unfolded after Swift hid behind the 7-foot bulletproof screen. So, uh, but a lot of people were saying, like, didn't Taylor Swift also start getting headlines when Perez Hilton? I was sick, so I don't know if it was in the headlines. But do you guys remember when Perez Hilton started to spill the tea that Baldoni had Taylor's text messages? Was this a stalker thing? Because if it's been going on since 2023, why all of a sudden is it in the headlines? Right? So maybe you guys, does anybody know if it was in the headlines when Perez reported on the how, the tea that, because if you guys remember, it was well, I'll just say it here for anyone that doesn't know. Perez Hilton went on his show. Shout out to Perez. If y'all don't follow him, always got the best tea. So now that his subpoena got dropped and everything, he's back to getting his sources telling him things. So one of his sources came out and said that Baldoni's legal team had seen Taylor Swift's texts. And so I'm wondering if all of this stalker stuff is coming out to kind of drown that story out. And yeah, exactly. A scary person like this isn't going to stop because of restraining order. Exactly. And yes, all my comments will be late. That's okay, Valerie. Well, we haven't been on for that long, so hopefully you catch up quickly. Let's see. Silly question, and I missed the beginning. Did the guy actually showed that the subpoena was about the Wayfarer parties? I am skeptical. Oh, hey, Miriam. I know I always call you Bizio. Miriam, thank you for coming and supporting. I appreciate you. Miriam's a member. If you guys have not become a member yet, it really helps me out. StreamYard has actually, they used to be $9.99 a week. It's now $17.99 a week. So I'm like debating whether I should just start going live straight from YouTube and figuring out how to do that. Or because I like this because I can bring up visuals, but I was like, it's $19 a week for StreamYard. So if you guys can become a member, that helps me out on my StreamYard bill. And yeah, I was thinking about just starting to go live, just like kind of like Sweet and Salty Lynn does with the green screen in the back. So I'm gonna start testing that out. Hey Lisa, she's lurking. I like lurkers; they give me views too. Mia says this is fishy. I don't believe it about the subpoenas. Yes. Thank you. I love you too, Miriam. I guess he has been avoiding the hearing and is avoiding court order check-ins. Yeah, it's really I always think about Selena and her, fan turned, like, I always think about Selena, the singer, the Tex-Mex singer, and what happened with her. So yeah, it's really scary for her. I'm not like downplaying that it's not scary. And it must have been scary to have some guy, some process server guy just show up like that. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you facilitate the service, and I'm like, you think she would know how hard it is, because look how hard they're trying to just get him to show up to court. So is this karma? Is this karma for her that they can't find Mr. Wagner? Because she even says right here, it's saying the investigator planned a follow-up call. No, where is it? Where she says, oh, chatted with the neighbors right here, and that it was inconclusive. This sounds like exactly when they were trying to serve Isabel Ferrer too. Like, if which she has nothing to do with Isabel. But anyways, back to Taylor. If they were trying to serve her, why wouldn't she just allow herself to be served? And last time when they were serving her with the stuff, the subpoena one, because this wasn't a subpoena, this was, I guess, for the deposition. But when they were trying to serve her, but I guess it's the same thing, right? A subpoena to be deposed. But when they were serving her with the subpoena, they served her lawyers direct, and it seems like they had good rapport. So I don't know. That's the Taylor Swift of it all. Is she trying to hide headlines? I don't know if it made any waves with the Perez stuff because I was sick at the time, so I wasn't checking the SEO. But the timing is definitely sus, Elena. And why would Wayfarers people do something like that when they've been in open communication? That's exactly what I was just saying. Lyman shot down her motion to compel. That's the one that she shot down. to compel Friedman's private investigators to turn over their private communications. The best part was the reason that Lyman gave to her. I was sick, so I didn't get to see that doc on that one. I don't think I might have retweeted it. Maybe it was before I was sick, but I don't remember what it was he said to him. But yeah, so maybe it was to hide that headline, you guys. I don't know. Yes, thank you. I actually have that bookmarked, Miriam. That I have that one. I'm gonna report on that. Probably maybe Thursday for a medley, but I you know me, I usually like to put it together with other cases, but yeah, that one's gonna be crazy because it's gonna change the way that Live Nation actually kind of has like a quote unquote monopoly on entertainment when it comes to concerts and stuff like that. So, you know, there is some digging there, and it's really gonna change the way that uh, people get uh, their tickets and stuff because it's starting to get wild. And remember, Taylor Swift herself was in a lawsuit of sorts because they were suing about how people were getting tickets and reselling them for way more. So, yeah, maybe I'll pair it up if there's any update with that lawsuit. But yeah, this is going to be a big one. Yesterday we did a show on Bad Bunny and how there's currently also a lawsuit on copywriting reggaeton music or copywriting Afro beats, and how it'll affect how people make reggaeton music. So there's a lot of like really cool cases that will change the landscape of music. Yeah, it was because of Taylor's. I am team anyone versus Ticketmaster. Yeah, yes, like if trying to buy tickets and stuff and then the resale market, it's crazy. Oh, the one with Taylor was where people were using different accounts to try and buy like tickets in bulk and stuff. And yeah, so that one was crazy. Check out the history of Live Nation, their charities, and they became just like Ticketmaster. Yep. So I definitely did clock that one, but thank you. If you guys have any other stories as well that you guys want to send me, I'm on X, Journalist 24. That's usually where I get all my DMs. With the David case, I did just make a video on the David case. He's a singer that right now is going through. They found a body in one of his Teslas, and so I had a bunch of DMs while I was sick on that one, and that's why I covered it. Oh, Irma's clarifying. Lyman said basically that because BL thinks someone is engaging in nefarious activities against her does not mean that it's sufficient to give her access to their communications. Okay, so speaking of that, let's transition into, so we pretty much talked the Taylor Swift stuff. If you guys are part of Replay Crew, leave down in the comments whether or not you think this is like legit. Was this server, is the story being told correctly? What do you guys think about the Taylor Swift and the Blake Lively of it all? Are these just headlines to try and hide other things, or what? But let's transition right now with that comment because it's a good transition into the filing from yesterday. Let me shut down all these windows real quick. Because that way I don't get the wheel of death, because I've been getting the wheel of death every time I try to transition. Let me see. Let me transfer that one because I'm trying to find the right link here. Okay, so shout out to Sarah, which is co.sunflower, because she brought this case up to me. It's called McSweeney versus Cohen. And Judge Lyman, he actually, let me see if it's up here. Let me pull this comment down. He actually made this ruling in this case. So it was very similar to this where she was alleging a smear of sorts. Let me see if I can make it bigger. And Lyman was the one who rolled over it. And so she was basically telling me that let me read it because I took notes. That this might be used in summary judgment, that Kevin Fritz has used this case or has quoted this case before, but it could be what they use in their motion for summary judgment. Because she said this case was about, this was, I think, Leah Sweeney, is that her name? Yeah, Leah McSweeney against Andy Cohen. And her theory is that they're going to be using this for their summary judgment motion because his final decision was that you can't really sue on a smear campaign because she wasn't working. So sorry, these notes are all messed up. I was trying to say that he doesn't a smear campaign. Oh, because it didn't affect your job. So let me see if I can find that part. So basically what she was trying to say is that because Blake Lively was no longer employed during when this happened, the quote unquote smear campaign. So maybe that's why she's moving the goalpost and saying that it happened during filming because of this case. Because if it didn't uh, threaten her employment, let me see where he makes the decision. It's 100 pages, so I should have come correct with this one, but it was probably at the bottom. Let me just scroll all the way to the bottom, you guys. Hopefully, I'm not making y'all dizzy. Well, let's see. Because it says something about how she was not currently employed, and so because Blake Lively wasn't working, it wasn't a retaliation against her employment. So it's about like employment law and how it works. Retaliatory. Let me see if maybe further down here. Let me go to page 99 because usually the full ruling is down at the bottom. Let me see. Defendants have offered no strong reason for the court to line edit the complaint and determine which allegations are immaterial. Having determined that some of plaintiff's disability-related claims survive, defendants may renew the motion at summary judgment. So I didn't really read it, but to prevail on. But that's what she was saying that it basically came down to was that it didn't. So maybe this is something I'll look further into. So I don't know where exactly it says it. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Striking it. Something about how it wasn't considered retaliatory. Let me see. Okay, here it is. New York labor law. An employer shall not take any retaliatory action against an employee, whether or not within the scope of the employer's job, because such an employee discloses or threatens to disclose that the employer reasonably believes is in violation of the law. Protection, disclose or threaten to disclose actions by the employer. Case law concerning that preeminent. So yeah, this is a lot of like legal speak, so I have no idea, but Sarah obviously understood it, and that's what she was saying that it came down to was that yes, if she moved the goalpost before most of all of her sexual, yeah, but I think that um, maybe that's why she moved the goalpost because she has to be employed in order for it to be an employment violation. Because at this point she was no longer working for them, so then it wouldn't affect her employment because she wasn't fired. So this isn't like, remember the Kevin Costner case too that I'm going to update you guys on tomorrow, where she's saying she lost employment, she was currently employed by them or whatever, and they didn't rehire her after she spoke up. No, this wasn't she spoke up. In fact, she spoke up and she kept her employment. So there was no retaliation back then. And she never until just recently said that. So yeah, let's get into this filing yesterday. So this is the filing from yesterday. I'm gonna make it bigger. Or maybe I can't make it bigger. How do I make it bigger? I don't know how I. Oh, I think I have to download it. Okay, here we go. So this is the filing from yesterday. So anyways, that was just a little Easter egg that Sunflower had pointed out that might be the reason why she's moved the goalpost, and something that because it's Judge Lyman's own decision, uh, that might be why something that they're going to use, because it's like, look, this is the decision you made that it wasn't considered a smear because she was not employed any longer. If the strike was in July and she would only return in August after she gave her 17 pointless, how is this now retaliation many months before all of this? Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, I don't know the Leah case. I wanted to look into it. It looked juicy, Valerie. So is it juicy enough to look into? I know it's an old case, and is it already done? It looks like it's done and there was a decision made. Um, but it looked really juicy when I was oh, you have to go to work, Valerie. Okay, thanks for covering all this. You're welcome, Valerie. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, we're wrapping up. I know. We started late. What time did I start? 8:30. So we're going on an hour. But yeah, I'm almost done. Let me see how many other tabs I have open here because this is the filing. This is the last of it. Um, let's just get into this. I'm getting the will of death. Okay. So this is the opposition to plaintiff's motion for the attorney's fees or whatever. So it was written by Ellen, and she did a really good job writing it. I actually saw a summary from Katie Pope on TikTok, who, if you don't follow her, she's really cool to follow too. She's an attorney and she breaks it all down. So basically, what they're trying to say is that um, they say a couple things. For one, there's a part that says where that they don't believe um, that they don't believe that she should be using 47.1 or that any decision should be made on 47.1 because there isn't any. The gist of it is basically like it hasn't gone to trial. We don't know what the damages are going to be. We can't we can't triple the damages of something that we don't know, right? And what if she ends up not prevailing in the case? So they made a point of that, and then they also made a point of the fact that this has never been litigated before. And there was a part in here where they said something about like you would be first to make a decision on something like this, like, and it was kind of like saying like, do you really want to be the first person to make a decision? And because there's no like guidance from California on how this goes, that was another thing that they also mentioned, that there is no guidance on this. Right here, California court has provided guidance on the issue, including whether court's determination before trial in the context of Section 47.1 would divest the defendant of his right to a defense at trial. And so they start off by calling it draconian. This seeks draconian relief under a new California statute because they're saying like this isn't fair. And so there's a couple parts that were redacted. And one of them is saying Baldoni's William Morris Endeavor agent Danny Greenberg testified to something. He testified to something, and that's in footnote 2, which is about this. It authorizes an award of reasonable attorney's fees for a failed defamation claim against a party asserting SH without malice and with the reasonable basis to file a complaint. Thus, whether the privilege and remedies afforded by Section 47.1 apply, turn not on the Wayfair party's underlying content, but on Lively's motive and intent, i.e., whether Lively asserted the claims without malice and with a reasonable basis. So her motive and intent. And so what I think this is going to be right here, let me go ahead and pull up this one. And thanks for sticking with me. I know a lot of y'all are going to work and I'm kind of slow with this, but I went to Exhibit A. Let me see. I think it's under manager. No, wait, it's WME. That's what I messaged. WME. So it's right here, July 15th, 2024. Can you guys see this? Did I pull it? Okay, I did. I wanted to go check the tab. So like I said, yesterday we were sleuthing and like trying to figure all this out. And so this is one of the things I found. This might be what he testified to that might be redacted, which I don't know why it would be redacted if it's public here, but it says Wayfair is informed that Reynolds contacted Baldoni's personal agent at WME. So this is Ryan Reynolds, but I don't know. It could have been attached to Blake maybe too, because I'm thinking that this is where they're going to say there's malice. During the call, Reynolds escalated his attack on Baldoni's character, calling him a deranged predator. Baldoni's agent relayed to Wayfair that he did his best to reason with Reynolds and to challenge the absurd claim, but that Reynolds was unwilling to consider any counter-narrative. Reynolds reiterated that Baldoni should not attend the premiere on August 6th, stating no one wants him there. When Baldoni's agent shared his conversation with Baldoni and Heath, both were disturbed by Reynolds' continued effort to damage Baldoni's reputation within the agency. So that's what I'm thinking, that's that redacted part right there, is that they're going to try and prove malice, that she was acting with malice. And that might come into play in the motion for summary judgment as well. So let me go back to this one real quick. So this might be better to go over with like someone who's a lawyer, because there's a lot of lawyers speak. She went real legal with it. But this is just some of the brainstorming that we were doing yesterday. Lively argues that the court dismissed the Wayfarer party's defamation claim against Ryan Reynolds and Leslie Sloan for failure to plead malice, but it was never hers. So yes, it was Reynolds and Sloan was for failure to, but never Lively's. Whether Lively had a reasonable basis for her. So when the judge dismissed Lively's claim, it wasn't on the actual malice stuff. That was only for Ryan and Leslie's claims. So that's what they end up pointing out. The court did not dismiss the Wayfarers party's defamation part of the claim against Lively for failure to plead malice. That was only, so the malice is still on the table. And so Katie Pope, who's an attorney, was basically saying that that's going to come into play as well. And that basically she's just rehashing this stuff with nothing new, that she's just using it to like rehash everything. Let me get a drink real quick. Sorry, guys, hold on. Sorry about that. I just kept feeling like a cough was coming. So it says plaintiff's motion should be denied over the following. No California court has addressed the constitutional concerns and conflicts, apparently from the face of section 47.1. So that's what we were saying. And then the second one was plaintiff fails to show that it may be applied extraterritorially. So that's because it's a California law and the underlying conduct occurred in New York and New Jersey. So that's going to be something else. And they cite, some good case law, looks like here, on it. Although proposed amici offered in support of Lively's position, quote, extensively from 47.1's legislative history, Lively does not point to express language in section 47.1 or any portion of the legislative history that even hints at an intent that the statute has extraterritorial applications. So that means, from state to state. It does not include any affirmative indication that it was intended to apply to conduct outside of California. So that's going to come into play too. So it's really, really juicy. And this is weird that it's redacted. It says, the core conduct alleged sexual harassment of it ends with us set, and the filing and dismissal of the Wayfarer party's unsuccessful defamation claim. It says request for remedies under section 47.1 did not occur in California, but in redacted, see declaration. And then it has exhibits A, B, and C, which is timestamps, probably for depositions, I would say. Did not occur in California, but in where? Well, if it was New York, and because up here they say New York, and that it occurred in New York and California or New Jersey. So was there something else that occurred somewhere else and it's redacted? I don't know, but that was the other part that was redacted. C, the other reason they said plaintiff has not proven that she's entitled to punitive damages. Did I miss C? C right here. Cannot apply where, as here, there are no factual findings that Lively's claims were asserted without malice. So that's where the malice comes in again. It's something of fact. See, I'm not a lawyer, but I listen to a lot of lawyers. But it's something about how like if there's like a fact, like facts can only be proven through like a trial or like a jury. So when there's, I forget what it's called something of facts. Does anybody know what that's called? But it's basically when there's facts that need to still be like hashed out. You can't just make a ruling on something because the facts have to be hashed out. Yes, she's recycling arguments from her initial CRD. Yep, exactly. So let's continue with this. Indeed, a centerpiece. Okay, so then D was right here. D is plaintiff has not proven she's entitled to it. And then here they define malice. The clear and convincing standard presents a heavy burden far in excess of the preponderance sufficient for most civil litigation. They quote this. The burden of proof by clear and convincing evidence requires a finding of high probability. The evidence must be so clear as to leave no substantial doubt. Whether a defendant acted with malice is an issue of fact. Okay, so here it is. It was called issue of fact. An issue of fact for the jury, and it is within the exclusive province of the jury to say whether or not punitive damages shall be awarded. So everyone that I saw that was an attorney said this is a really strong response. A plaintiff simply ignores the requirements that malice be proven with clear and convincing evidence. Any finding of malice and punitive damages is within the exclusive province of the jury, and the court is prohibited from influencing the jury's decisions on whether to award those damages. Plaintiff fails to explain how, in the absence of actual damages, the court can calculate the punitive or the treble damages. So they're like, if we don't even know what the compensatory damages are, how can we calculate the other damages? Put another way, what exactly would the court be trebling? And so they think that, and so here it is. It's signed by Ellen Garofalo. She's a great writer. Ever since she came on, her filings are really, straight to the point. But there was a part where it said, was it in the beginning where it says that it's nothing more than trying to sway the public? Because maybe I missed that part. Might have been in the introduction. As explained, let's see, against excessive penalties. Why was it here? Let me see. Lively the statute. Remedies must be available. It was somewhere here. I remember reading that part where it was basically saying that she does not address any of the issues about her motive and intent. Might have been at the end of this paragraph. Let me see. There was a point where it was like, this is nothing more than rehashing old things and trying to sway the public. But I don't know where that one was at. I probably should have bookmarked it. But that was the only part that was a little spicy in the filing. And it was like a blink and you missed it moment. Right here. He has already declined. No, maybe that's not the part. Right here. I found it. All right, guys. Simply put, nothing has changed since the order and Lively and this renewed motion appears to be nothing more than an improper request for reconsideration, seemingly contrived as a thinly veiled effort to poison public perception at the potential jury pool. As best, the motion is premature. So they're saying this is just kind of a PR effort. Like you're just trying to poison public perception not this motion, her motion. And that it was an improper request for reconsideration, just rehashing all the old stuff. So some of the other stuff that was redacted was it was testimony from Danny Greenberg, which we know that Greenberg is WME's Baldoni's WME agent, but Vivian Baker was another one. Justice for BJS writes, Vivian Baker was the makeup artist on It Ends With Us and various Ryan Reynolds projects. So she's been deposed, and there's something in there that was redacted. And then the other one was, it says the sealed. Oh, so this was another letter that was filed. So it says, on behalf of defendants, Wayfair, let me see if I can pull this up. Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us. We write pursuant to Exhibits A through C to the Wayfair party's opposition, which show portions of the deposition transcripts of Vivian Baker, Warren Zavala, and Danny Greenberg, which Ms. Lively designated as confidential. So that's who Vivian Baker is, and that's who Danny Greenberg is. And so she's saying that Danny Greenberg was Justin Baldoni's agent from WME. And it's the same thing that we just read from Exhibit A, but this was in the actual filing. At least twice, Reynolds stated to WME executives, Baldoni and Wayfair's talent agency, that Baldoni is a predator and that by implication, WME is in business with the predator. The first statement was on July 15th when Reynolds contacted Baldoni's agent, and that's the one we just read. And then the second statement was on July 22nd when Reynolds told a senior WME executive about it. But the Warren Zavala one, let me go back to the timeline as we wrap up here, you guys. Because I believe I did a manager. So this is what I found on Warren Zavala, because it says when Lively asked Baldoni for access to the dailies, it says, hey, would you mind giving me access to the dailies? And I'm curious which takes you liked in of the scenes you showed blank. My manager, and this is Zavala, flew out to visit set and leaves tomorrow a.m. He heard all about it from blank, and I'd love to show him. I appreciate you maybe too. I think oh wait, no, Stone is her manager. Warren Zavala is her talent agent. So this is referring, so I think this is her talent agent right here, Zavala, the one that's blacked out. Because her manager is Justin Greystone or whatever, that guy, who was also mentioned in the filings last night too. So we sleuthed him as well. But there was another part. Let me see. Hold on. No, that's manager. So this is another thing that was Lively's attorneys, manager, and agents. While working through Lively's protection letter for her return to work, Wayfarer Counsel, seeking to keep the production on track, reaches out to Lively's lawyer, her agent, and manager. So her agent is Warren Zavala, which, here's a little Easter egg. Warren Zavala also represents Amber Heard. And so that's why I thought that that Amber was so quick to put out a statement, was because they have the same agent. It says, to send over the requested production materials, a one-liner, scheduled new script, etc. Additionally, Wayfarer's counsel sought to coordinate a time for Lively to view the rough cut, as promised, all in an effort to maintain production progress. So this is the email. So he could have been deposed and talked about that. We were trying to sleuth what it could have been. And then this is Lively's agent and manager reach out to Heath requesting that Baldoni fly to New York to show Lively the assembly cut of the film. Heath responds that Baldoni is not available to travel at the time, but that they look forward to showing her the rough cut later. So those are the parts where it appears that they have communication with Warren Zavala. So this is Lively's agent. Blake would like to see the cut this week if possible. Hate to make him fly out, but if that is how he would like to do it, she gets it. I assume he's just going to intro it. Awkward otherwise. So this is October 17th. We'll write Jamie to let me know. Hey, I'm here. Did you mean someone else? She suggested he would be down to do it this week, so I asked Blake if that would work. And then Jamie says, let me check on that. Not sure what Blank is referring to. Maybe she had a convo I wasn't a part of. Let me look into what's possible. And then they say he's at. So maybe that's what's in the deposition stuff, discussing this. I don't know. Like I said, we were just sleuthing yesterday. Blake, let's see, Blake did to Justin everything she has accused of doing to her. Yeah, we were talking about that too with Chris PR, about how the real smear campaign and the one he could find was more on Blake's sides towards Baldoni and not the other way around. And then we also had discussed how it doesn't seem that Jed did anything in Baldoni's case, because Jed has been mentioned in other cases like Reb Wilson and CoffeeZilla, I guess. And in these cases, there's these websites that are made, and there was never a website made against Blake. And so it didn't follow Jed's usual MO. Well, allegedly, because they're saying that Jed took a part in those other things. But anyways, it was a good conversation, because I was like, ooh, I never even thought about it. It was in context of Rule 11. Oh, okay. Thank you, Cold, for letting me know that. I wonder if BL will end up suing her legal team because filings like this are pathetic. I'm sure her legal team is maintaining records of communication with BL and RR for protection. Yeah, finder of facts. Thank you. Everyone was over here in the comments and I didn't read them. Yes. Trier of facts or statement of facts. Yes. Let's see. Blake is recycling. Okay, so I already got to that one. So yeah, I think that's the show. Let me make sure I didn't have anything else. But yeah, so we were sleuthing that out on what could be in that redacted deposition, what they could be talking about, because it all seems like maybe it's on malice. Vivian's stuff could probably be about, her perception of what happened inside the trailer, right? Because Vivian might have said, oh no, it didn't happen like that. She might have not been on Team Blake Lively. She might have said, well, yeah, he kind of accidentally made eye contact or whatever. So I don't know what Vivian, but I know Vivian was present in the trailer. So her testimony might be in regards to that. But it says the sealed parts, let me see, the sealed parts, the redacted portion similarly referred to the testimony contained in the transcripts that Lively designated as confidential. So she designated it as confidential. So I don't know what it could be, because I mean, it said it right there, exhibits A, B, and C. Let me go back really quick to this where the redacted portion, because it was under where it's talked about where the allegations happened. Because here, this is just exhibit C, so that must be Danny Greenberg's exhibit. But then the other redacted portion where they're talking about where it took place, that's where it says A, B, and C. So their testimony has something to do with where this occurred, I'm guessing. So it might not be that much tea. We might be able to see what's in it. Oh, wait, I wasn't sharing it. Sorry. It's right here. Ellen Garofalo's exhibit A, B, and C. So I'm thinking A is Vivian and B is Warren and C is Danny, because up there it said exhibit C when they were talking about Danny. And so this is in regards to, it did not occur in California, but so that might be what the testimony might be, a nothing burger, but at least that's where I found out like who these players were and their role in all of it through the timeline info. But let me make sure that I didn't have anything else before I let you guys go. No, I think that was the show. I appreciate you guys coming. I know we're supposed to have Kevin today, but this all dropped last night. And like I said, we were sleuthing and a lot of good stuff came out through the sleuthing of who these people were. And then, so that's why I was like, let's just go back to Blake today and we can do Kevin tomorrow. So really quick before I let you guys go, if you don't follow me over on X, this is the community that I'm updating. It's called Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. Let me pull it up. And so this is where I post, a lot of cases and other stuff. So if you want to be up to date on other cases, Diddy, I'm going to post a lot of stuff today on Diddy, because on Thursday, you guys, he is fighting for his life. Diddy will be fighting for his life on Thursday in regards to, he's trying to get out of jail. They're asking for a sentence of 14 months. And they're basically trying to say, and guys, this is so crazy. They're trying to say that it was not transportation or trafficking, that it was him making films for use, like that he's like a corn company type of thing. Like, so I don't know if they're going to have the receipts for it. Diddy Docket was talking about, let me see if I can pull up Diddy Docket real quick. Diddy Docket was talking about, so this is the one I'm going to be posting today. I'm going to be reposting some of Diddy Docket. If you guys want to keep up to date on this, this is the best thing to follow. But they said something really funny. I think it's down here. Porn poll. In court Thursday, Sean Diddy Combs will defend his position as a producer of corn and not a transporter of prostitutes by producing the 7 years of documentation, performer 18 plus ID, and STI testing. We do know that he did do STI testing. We do know he did that, required for the makers of corn material. And then it's like, does Diddy have the receipts? Or, I know you're effing lying. And most people were like, I know you're effing lying. He is not trying this. But that's what he's saying. Paying people to film them in sexual performance is protected by the First Amendment. So that is his defense on the sentencing. And then in lieu of that, I guess he's asking for a new trial on that, I guess. And just basically saying like he doesn't deserve. And I don't know exactly, because I'm barely catching up too, but yeah, see, the defense filed no more than 14 months, because they're saying that even regular people who have been gotten the Mann Act against them, that it's only been 12 months. So he may be looking at less than a year, or maybe a couple months with time served, because he's already served a year. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to be covering that on X today, reposting some of this stuff. And then, of course, we're going to, oh, I didn't pull it up on the stage. My bad, y'all. Here was the poll. So follow Diddy Docket. Let me pull up the poll. My bad. I hate it when I do that and I don't pull it up. But here's the little poll. So 78.5% said, I know you're effing lying. I mean, he might have the receipts. He might have that he had forms, had them signing forms. Who knows? Maybe it's in an NDA. Who knows if he's going to pull this off. But it's interesting nonetheless, because I did not see this reverse Uno coming, and just goes to show that he's got some good lawyers. And, Shapiro is on, people are saying Shapiro was Diddy's lawyer and is on Baldoni's team. And someone said, oh, yeah, Shapiro, the lady who lost the case for Diddy. But, I mean, the case could be turning around here. Who knows? So we'll see what's going on with that. Again, thank you everyone for coming by. That info would have been brought in trial if it was true. Yeah, so I don't know if they're doing a Hail Mary at the last minute. Oh, I was saying corn instead of, I don't know if I can say porn. Can I say porn? I don't know. Well, I just said it. I don't know. Now that I'm monetized, I try to be more good morning, Eliza. I try to be who thought that I wasn't talking about corn? uh so yeah, anyways, thank you guys. Oh, I can after 10 minutes. Okay. But don't chance it. Okay, thank you, Laura. Shout out to my mod, Laura. I say Laura, Laura. It's Laura, right? Laura, and I appreciate her for coming every morning. Thank you, everyone. We had a really good crowd today on this, and I appreciate you guys, letting me get all my thoughts out on all the speculation. So, again, follow Co Sunflower, follow Bocce Go Hawks, follow me over on TikTok. I'm gonna be doing a lot more TikTok. It's fun over there, you guys. If y'all don't have a TikTok, it's really fun over there. I don't go over there. Cooper, you're barely coming on as we're saying bye. You can be part of replay crew. You're welcome, Irma. Of course, always trying to bring you guys the tea. But yeah, that's the show, and I appreciate everybody who is coming on. Blake Taylor and Justin of it all. We will see you guys tomorrow for the update on Kevin Costner. Cooper says I'll replay. Thank you, Cooper. Or Copper Mountain. I appreciate that. I don't do Jane says I don't do TikTok. Well, I'm trying to bring the TikTokers over here because I told them, I was like, you guys should come on my show. So I know Bocce for sure said she'd come on. Raven, I didn't get back with her, but I really want to get that girl Sarah too because she works for a jury consultant agency, and it would be really cool to talk about like that aspect of it as it heads into trial. So maybe we can get her on and just bring the TikTokers to YouTube for Jane. But yeah, those lives are fun, and we will stay tuned for everything. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.